to Owen. They show Owen jump the rail. He had attacked Shawn Michaels a few times after the screw job, and they looked like they were really building up to an Owen versus Shawn Michaels feud. And the word on the street is that Shawn didn't want to work with Owen. He wanted to put the Harts behind him. He kind of was, using his power in the company at the time to sort of push him down the ranks, and they couldn't do like the AEW solution and just put him on another show. They didn't have another show. All they had was Monday Night Raw at the time. And so they sort of pull up the facts of like the blue blazer or Owen in the caution tape of the Nation of Domination, and Brett kind of thinks that they pushed Owen down the card because of the fact that they had a problem with Brett, and Brett was working for WCW at the time. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I think you have to use all of your stars in the best situations. They had a chance. They released Bulldog. They released the Anvil because they wanted to go to WCW, and Owen and Vince decided that he would stay. Maybe he didn't want to work under Brett's shadow anymore. Maybe he wanted to prove that he could be a star. At that point in wrestling, I mean, if you had a really good show, if you said the right thing in your interview, and the fans brought signs and chanted for it, you were gonna get pushed. That's just it. They talk about the Over the Edge situation is the pay-per-view that Owen fell from the ceiling in Kansas City. And I've always heard different stories, whether if it was the actual cable, whether if it was the harness, whether if it was the clip that held everything together was the wrong size, and it wasn't supposed to support a 200-pound man. I really don't know what to think. I've heard so many different things. I've heard that Owen's cape accidentally clipped the clip, and that's what made it come together. But the story that they tell here is that basically the apparatus was not effective. The company that supplied the apparatus and got Owen ready for the stunt knew that it was faulty. They used it anyways. Basically, Martha Hart, the widow of Owen, sued WWF, and then basically they sued the company. I don't know if that ends up making it a wash, but in the long run, Owen Hart, is dead, and they lost his family. At that time, they were doing lots of weird, different things, and you can look and see WCW was doing it with Sting, so I don't want to say that it was not needed in wrestling, but it just, I don't know, in a comedy match of the Blue Blazer wrestling against the Godfather in a match that was probably going to go 5 minutes, I don't think Owen needed to come in from the ceiling, but I understand why they did it. It just sucks. I don't know how wrestling would have been different, but the talk about everything is that, why Vince didn't stop the show. I understand the problems of like, what do you do with this show? Like, do you have to refund everybody that paid the $30 to order it on pay-per-view? Do you have to refund everybody who bought a ticket? It's not like the Beware of Dog situation within your house when they only had Monday Night Raw and a lot of those were pre-taped. At this time, Monday Night Raw is live each and every night. So how do you just do the pay-per-view as the show as Monday Night Raw is like take two? We'll just go from there. Does Owen not get a celebration on that Raw? Do they try and reschedule and find an arena that they can book and do the pay-per-view again on Tuesday? But then again, but Monday you do the celebration show, so you don't really have a lot of storylines on that show. So I think that was a lot of things that was going through his mind. It sucks that right after the fall, Jeff Jarrett and Deborah have to do a live interview that's not pre-taped. And, you can see Deborah just not wanting to be there. Jeff dedicates the match to Owen and then kind of is able to click right into go mode, and he delivers his promo, and then he goes out and wrestles a match. I think on that show is also they broke up the New Age Outlaws. Badass Billy Gunn and Road Dogg wrestle for the first time. Nobody cares. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin and Undertaker in the main event. Nobody cares. I mean, those guys are going out there, and just like Meltzer said, they're going out there and wrestling. I mean, Stone Cold and Owen, they had their problems. Some people say that they were friends. Some people said that they weren't. Jeff Jarrett and Owen, really close for their entire career. They're wrestling in Owen's blood from his fall. It's right there. You can't miss it. The fans, that are in the Kemper Arena, they all saw what happened. They can't make that go away. They don't know what happened. Cell phones weren't as strong. There was no Twitter. There was no Facebook, blah, blah, blah. But, you watch the show and you see the fans behind JR doing this. They know he died. Blade Braxton on Wrestle Crap Radio, he was there. And he had said on Wrestle Crap Radio that they didn't know, but they knew.